Hi everyone, I'm Mike, and in today's update, we're going to cover 1.21.50 updates in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Now, 1.21.50 it released about a week ago on December 3rd, and in addition to, of course, the Pale Garden and the Creaking, it also had a number of cool, awesome updates for creators to build awesome things with that we're going to cover in today's episode. So with that, I'd like to introduce all my friends. So we're going to start with Kayla Kinnunen. She's on the creator PM team, and she's actually my boss as well. Kayla, why don't you take it away?
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Mike. I'm Kayla. I'm head of creator here at Mojang. I've been at Mojang now for 4.5 years, focusing on creator stuff. I love giving updates on all the cool new features that me and the team and everyone have been adding for you to play with. So glad to be here. Thanks, Mike.
Yep. And we're also joined with Bryant Hawthorne, who's the newest member of the creator team. He focuses a bit more on the editor and all the cool new editor things, and so he'll have a segment later on everything that's new with editor. But Bryant, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, like you said, Mike, my name is Bryant Hawthorne. I'm focusing on creator tools as a product manager, and editor has taken a lot of my time, and super excited to give an update there.
All right, awesome. Okay, let's go dive into all that's new and all that's interesting in 1.21.50. So, just covering all the updates, you can see that there's an aka.ms link at the top. Kayla actually writes our every release document that covers everything that's new up on the creator learning portal at learn.microsoft.com/creator/Minecraft/creator, excuse me. But you can find all the updates there up on aka.ms/MC12150. So just first and foremost, one of the things you'll hear a lot about is that editor is now in beta in the main Minecraft release. So up until now, if you wanted to work with the editor, you would need to have Minecraft Preview. Now it's available, and we have an easy to start option inside of the Minecraft launcher that you'll see. We have a number of new entity components. Of course, it's common to many of the builds that people build that you have an entity, and the components are really the lifeblood of those entities. We have some new ones we're going to be talking about. Some new entity events. So when something happens to an entity, you can have different types of reactions and the like, and we're going to be covering some new entity events. We have some new world generation biome features. So if you want to customize the presentation of a biome and want to customize the audio of a biome, you can now do that with some ambient sounds as well as some biome music that you can customize. Schedule delay. You'll see here that I've got this scale for the importance of various features, the number of exclamation points, and so we're excited about every feature we launch. Everything gets an exclamation point, but some features get 3 exclamation points, and some get 2. But schedule delay, that's really a 3 exclamation point feature. It's something that's been requested by creators for so long. Now, there's lots of ways to run something on a delay. You can do it through scripting. Of course, a lot of creators have a lot of ideas on how to do that with things like Redstone. But just having a straightforward way to run a function, you'll see that in just a bit. And the like, in terms of how you can simply run a command on a delay. So that'll be pretty awesome. It's a 3 exclamation point feature. And then finally, we have device info APIs. So very common for a lot of creator content. Sometimes the gameplay gets enhanced if they can know, like, are you using a touchpad? And sometimes games actually ask players, like, what device are you using? Which, is a little silly, like when you're on a Switch, like, hey, are you playing on a Switch? Well, now there's device info APIs that will automate that process for creators, so you don't have to actually ask players what kind of device are you using and the like. We have some awesome APIs for fill blocks and get blocks, and you'll hear a little bit more about that in the future as well. So if you're running scripting, a lot of cool stuff to go ahead and show you. So with that, we'll start with the editor. So Bryant, why don't you go take it away and tell us everything that's new inside of the editor?
Awesome. So really exciting things on in editor land, as Mike was mentioning. So first of all, what is editor? So editor is a multi-block editing experience that helps you easily craft high quality worlds in Minecraft Bedrock. So you can really think of it as a visual tool to quickly build worlds at scale. So Minecraft is inherently creative, where you can think of it as block-to-block creation in a lot of the different experiences. This is a tool directly in Bedrock where you can make big changes, big swooping changes through that. So let's dig into it a little bit more. So a few things about editor before I dive into some of the features in our 0.8 release. This is PC only, so if you're on mobile and you're like, where's editor? Not there yet. Hold tight. So it's PC only. And as Mike mentioned, we just released this into retail. Previously, it was only in our preview builds, but now if you grab the main retail build of Bedrock, it's part of that. It's part of Launcher as well. Previously, we made people jump through a whole bunch of hoops by creating a desktop shortcuts on all these fun things you had to do to get it. You can actually go directly to Launcher. We have a Creator Tools tab in Launcher, and you click the Create button, and it will just launch in editor mode directly.
But you can still create a shortcut if you want to, though.
Yes,
I mean, if you're really a big fan of shortcuts, then you can still do that.
Yes, you can. If you don't want to go through Launcher, you can still create the shortcut. Thank you, Mike. And then the last thing I would mention is that it's built with a rich extensibility framework. And so the goal here is that as a creator, you might have your custom pipeline for creation. You can actually build tools directly into Editor itself to kind of aid in that pipeline specific for you or the team that you're working with. So let me show you some of the Launcher stuff. So if you want to go next one here, and then this is actually a video. So this shows you kind of highlighting some of the different features within the Launcher, within Editor itself that the Launcher is highlighting. And we'll dig into these in a second as well. So just a few features it's highlighting here, and then like I mentioned, when this video is done, there's that big green button similar to when you're on the Play tab. You click that, it opens Bedrock, and it will open editor mode directly from here. So let's talk about some of the 0.8 features. So a lot of cool things in this update. Other than us just going to retail, this was a big update for us. We focused a lot on terrain building tools as part of this update. So there's a lot of words on the slide. Words aren't as exciting as videos, so let's hit the video here. Editor version 0.8. So here, the first thing is brush select. You can actually use brushes to select parts of the terrain, and you can also use a quick fill. With brush carve, you can go in here and basically carve out the terrain directly, or even offset what that brush looks like. So if you want something in the sky, you can do that. Block picker friendly names, we were previously using the technical names here, so it makes adding the blocks a lot easier. And this is just the search that we're using in that uses custom blocks even. So if you have custom blocks, you can go in here. Multi-palette picker, you can go in here and customize the palette, which is really cool. You can even save it, and it will persist from session to session. A middle mouse, the video doesn't quite super well, but you can actually middle mouse when you're in that block picker, and it will actually grab whatever's in the terrain. So you can see the glowstone right there being selected, and those blue blocks as well. Smooth tool, you can go in here and you can carve out the terrain, smooth that out. So if you have harsh edges, you can really smooth that out. Locate biome, so it does exactly what it says. You can search for the biome and you can be teleported directly there. With flatten, you can select a certain block and it will take that height and you can carve out the terrain. Repeater is really cool, especially when you're building structures. You can have a selection volume and then repeat it as far out. Quick extrude, you can just click on the block and it will add basically a layer of that same block. And everybody's favorite, farm tool, you can quickly just drop the farm in there. Directional compass, this actually will tell you what direction you're facing, which is really helpful when you're using some of these other. And then the last thing that it was showing there was move speed. So you can actually move faster than you can in vanilla, which is really cool when you're dealing with really big structures. You can fly around those really fast. And so a lot of cool features there.
And negative Z is going north, basically, in the compass?
Negative, I believe so.
Yeah, I think so, because that was the one where I'm like, okay, if you want to know it's very handy to know if you're going negative Z and positive Z. But I was like, okay, the negative Z is the snowball, is the North Pole. That's my new mnemonic for trying to remember keep all those things straight in my head. But I love the way it is. I was using that a bunch already, and it's really nice to have. I would love it in more places, to be honest, but it was very awesome to have it in editor.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think we landed this in 0.8, but if you go in preview, you can see you can actually toggle between northwest, east, south as well.
Well, so much the better, yeah.
But it is intuitive. It's not super intuitive, so having that directly in your face right there is super convenient when you're manually modifying kind of like the negative Z value for certain tools and all of that. The last thing I want to say in editor is we'd love to engage with you. And so as part of this release, we added a couple of different ways to do that. So as part of the main Minecraft Discord under Creative Corner, we actually have a Bedrock editor section now. So go there if you want to engage with us. If you have feedback, all of that. You can also drop feedback into feedback.minecraft.net. We also have our own category there. This isn't new, but we do have our own GitHub. There are extension sample kits and things that if you're curious about, hey, how do I build different tools for editor that might help me in my pipeline, go there. That's another really good resource for you to learn more about editor. So that's it from my side. Thank y'all.
I think what's also really cool about editor there is like 0.8 kind of infers that there's been a whole bunch of editor versions before this as well. What's really cool is that editor's been kind of iterated on with the community for quite some time now, and so really like Bryant and the editor team really takes that feedback that the community gives quite seriously. So excited for editor to be easier for people to access with the launcher. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the different feedback that people have so that 0.9 and further versions will have your feedback included in there as well.
Yeah, good comments. Thank you.
Cool. All right, so let's cover some of the entity components. Kayla, take it away.
Yeah, great. So the first one, Minecraft cannot be attacked. This one and the ignore cannot be attacked. It kind of takes a little bit of explanation right here. So as we all know, the ghast in Minecraft cannot be attacked. But often when creators are making their own mobs, they want those mobs to be able to attack the ghast. So in this update, we added the component cannot be attacked to the ghast so that creators could change that component or remove that component if they wanted a ghast that could be attacked. But then that has the fact of, well, sometimes you can't change the ghast component, the ghast itself, but you want to still make a mob that can still attack the ghast even if you can't change the ghast component. That's why we had to add the ignore cannot be attacked component so that even if the ghast has the cannot be attacked component attached to it, you can make an entity that can ignore that completely. I'm hoping that in the future we have another component that is ignore, no backsies, just to kind of really kind of cement the fact that. But again, it's kind of one of those like weird Minecraft-isms here, where we need to kind of create these components that can undo some of the vanilla rules and give creators the flexibility to kind of work around them. So that's the kind of story between those. So the long short of it is now Minecraft add-ons can make entities that can attack the ghast.
And if you want to make your own entities that are like the ghast that cannot be attacked, you can do that. So,
correct.
Yeah,
good point.
Ghast-esque things.
Yeah. Behavior.summon entity. This is just another way where you can kind of specify an event that would be invoked at the moment that an entity gets spawned, so that you don't have to wait for a tick or anything like that. It gives you another option. Attach some logic spawning event for an entity. Play sound and emit particles. I believe these were probably used on the creaking. I could be mistaken there, but really there are additional ways where you can apply visuals and sound effects to an entity. Yeah.
And we also have Q command as well. So if there's other commands that you want to use, you can use the Q command entity event to have like some sort of command that runs, potentially other things like playing an animation maybe even, or something like that, that can be triggered when an entity event changes its state.
Yeah. A bunch of stuff here for biomes. A lot of kind of under the hood work on our biome system lately, and so the creator community has kind of seen a few examples of that. Here's an example where we're kind of some of the audio aspects of biomes. I believe this was used with the Pale Garden. Like if you play the vanilla version of Minecraft and you go to the Pale Garden, the music kind of dims down, and I believe they're using the biome music component in order to do that in the Pale Garden. And then also you can define these kind of ambient sounds that would play within a biome as well. Again, I think that they were used in the Pale Garden to kind of create those kind of creepy effects that happen inside there.
Yeah, and I have just a very quick demo of this, which is to say,
cool.
Well, this is actually not a demo of it. I'm not actually demoing the audio features, but just to give you a sense of the biome overrides, this is a quick behavior pack I created, downloaded from mctools.dev, and in the biomes folder of the resource pack, which is called cont_1215, you can see that I've got this client biome JSON file here. And what this says is that, okay, for the snowy slopes, I want to change the sky color. I want to have a different fog appearance. And I want to have a different water appearance. And you could also add maybe a custom sound, as Kayla just mentioned, or change the volume of the music in the particular biome. This is, as Kayla mentioned, part of us trying to break out this biome client functionality. It used to be a monolithic JSON file that was a little bit harder to override, but now it's available inside of Minecraft. So if I go just into my cleverly named world called AA, I'm going to start inside of the snowy biome, and what you can see from this is, ta-da! I was kind of going for a Christmassy theme of like, wouldn't it be cool if the water was red and maybe the sky was green? But that looks way more, I think, more Halloween themed than holiday themed, let's say. But yeah, so well, but that shows you that on a biome basis, you can actually override these things to kind of create a different mood, which is an amazing thing of biomes. And then, of course, when you move out of it, you can see that now the sky is no longer oddly green.
No longer creepy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
I'll ask you, Mike, about your Christmas experience.
I think there's probably a lot of movies you could watch where, anyway, never mind, that look like this. But yeah, that's just a very quick preview of working with the biome client files, and then you could imagine adding more sounds and music in here as well. All right,
I think biomes is an exciting area to keep an eye out. I think there'll be a lot more biome stuff coming the next year or so as we continue to do a lot more biome work behind the scenes.
All right, so
schedule delay. Ooh, what a great command. So schedule delay has been available from internally at Mojang. We've had this in our own builds. I know that's top secret information, and we definitely shouldn't tell anybody that. But
no,
it's the worst kept secret ever. Everyone knew that this command existed, and when creators knew, they wanted it. And so this is one of those commands that has been long requested. And so really, like Mike said earlier, you could do all this stuff in scripting. Like you can easily set up timing-based systems and fire logic through scripting. But sometimes you don't want to have to kind of go straight into scripting in order to do these sorts of things. Sometimes you just want to set up a delay and then fire a command later. This could be useful in just your debugging actions, playing around, or it could be useful through like a logic chain that you want to use command blocks or any of your other kind of in-game type logics type stuff. So a super powerful command, do a lot of cool stuff. And it'll just let you use a command to delay some logic to later when you just want to stay using commands.
Yeah, and just a very quick preview of this one. So I have a function here called foo.mcfunction. I put this in the functions folder like this. I can say hello 1.21.50, yay, like this. And then I'm going to go just deploy this npm run local deploy like so. And then I'm going to come back into Minecraft, and I'm just going to say reload this, reload all this stuff. And so yeah, so the schedule delay command, you give it schedule. There was a pre-existing overload for schedule delay, which is when a particular area is loaded, like a new chunk as you're moving about the world. You can actually have some behavior that triggers based on that. But you can see that now there's a schedule delay add, and I can just say, call that foo MC function. It's based on the file name of the MC function file. And I can specify a time in ticks, and there's 20 ticks per second. So if I want this to be, 3 seconds, then I would do 60 like so. And you can see that it's giving me a notice. And then, 3 seconds later, it says, hello 1.21.50, yay. And if you always want to turn off those debug messages, there's a game rule for doing that. But this is a really awesome capability. So for example, in the Q command that we saw earlier, you could schedule a delay, or that we talked about earlier, you could schedule a delay that, maybe after the entity is spawned, you wait 10 seconds and then another thing spawns or something. You can do a lot of interesting things with that. Probably get in a lot of trouble with that, but most of the time you're doing something cool, we know. So yeah, schedule delay, really simple, pretty nice. Yeah.
That's great. Coming soon. This is a thing I love writing in our Learning Port article for every release, which is all the things that we think are coming soon. I pull from stuff that's in previews right now, stuff that maybe not in preview just yet, but we have pretty high confidence with. But this is always just our best guess on stuff that's coming. Jigsaw blocks have been in experimental for a little bit now. And so we're pretty excited to get that moving over to stable. I think that'll happen in the next few months or so. But already we're seeing creators have a lot of fun with big jigsaw blocks, and so we're really excited to get them stable so that we can start seeing it in marketplace content and all that kind of great stuff. Place feature, I don't think we've seen this land in a preview yet, but it's...
Yeah, I think it's in preview. I think it's moving from beta to stable.
Okay. I can't remember if we've seen it in preview. Maybe it was preview a couple weeks ago. Anyways, it's very recent if it's been released so far. But again, it'll just allow you to use the /place command to just place a feature down. And another hugely requested feature. This kind of fits in all of our kind of biome work that we're doing right now, where we really want to enable creators to do all kinds of different world gen type activities, placing features obviously being one aspect of that. Camera features, obviously our camera has been out for quite some time now. We've been adding our third person presets to it. We stabilized one early version of the camera feature a month or two ago, and that was actually used in the latest avatar map that launched in the marketplace last week. But there's a bunch more third-person camera presets coming really soon, along with our focus target and aim assist capability. Focus target allows you to specify an entity that the camera will kind of follow, and aim assist allows you to, as a creator, to specify whether or not the camera should snap to user blocks, make it easier for players to maybe select what they're trying to select when their camera is detached from the player in a different way. So I think all of those things are going to come together and make it really interesting if you want to kind of explore different genres with Minecraft and make different types of gaming experiences. So top-down games or what have you. A lot of block work is happening right now. The block item config is really the kind of space where blocks and items kind of overlap with each other. So, when blocks are in your inventory, they act as an item. When you kind of throw a block down and they just kind of float around in the world, they act as an item in the world. There's a whole bunch of kind of work that we're doing right now in that kind of block item overlap series that allow you to customize that stuff. So it'll be things like customizing the icon for the block in the inventory, and a bunch of other things right there. So we're doing a lot of work on that stuff right now. And then block interaction with Liquid. So we have a bunch of stuff about like waterlogging blocks, data driving, like Liquid blocks, a lot of that stuff. So new components are coming online there, new script APIs, all kinds of great stuff to kind of help you play with blocks that are liquid and act as liquids. And then lastly, scripting APIs, a lot of great stuff. Probably the most exciting one that's in preview or experimental right now that we're stabilizing in the next few months is our input APIs. This will allow you as a creator to detect individual button presses and react to them. And again, it will be really useful for creators who want to build new types of experiences that kind of break out of the mold of a traditional Minecraft game. So pretty exciting stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, well, so awesome to hear about what's coming new, and hopefully folks stay tuned in upcoming changelogs. You can find the links in the notes for this video that will have more links to the changelogs and those kinds of things. Usually, folks like Bryant, when we have this weekly preview release, they edit the changelog notes to make sure it's always up to date with what's coming on. So that's really the best source if you want to see what's coming that's fresh inside of Minecraft. But also, we should also hope to maybe do more of these videos too. And not be strangers. We actually sit right next to each other in the office, but and do more of these videos for the various updates of Minecraft.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mike. This was really a lot of fun. Great to kind of run through all these great things, and let's do this again.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Mike.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining in. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.